Alright, hey, hi, hello, how's it going guys? My name is ZetaRayZod and welcome back to more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, before I begin, be sure to like, subscribe, and get that bell on so you stay up to date on all my latest videos. So, last we left off, we kind of managed to convince one of the jurors, the juror number 6, the Russian revolutionary, to kind of like, choose the not guilty verdict. But now we're gonna have to try and convince, juror number 3 and 5 that that he's innocent as well. So we did a comparison with photos and photos using the stereoscope, and we found that some stuff has moved, and now they're asking us which one is responsible for the move. I'm kind of want to go with Gina, but then I feel like it could be either of the brothers as well. I don't know which one it'll be. I feel like Gina would be the right option, but at the same time, because I don't know which brother it is, right? Would I get either right? You know, if I pick one of the brothers, would it be the same? I'm just gonna go Ringo. It was the witnesses currently in the stand, the Skulkin Brothers. Okay, that sounds right. Because if not, they would have told me like it's wrong. Wait. This does not agree with what brothers said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from Lucy Lockets. My phrase book says dukes is meaning hands and Lucy Lockets is meaning pockets. They lied, sir. They lied. But is this another lie? Yes. Is this what you are saying? Yes, I'm afraid so. Now hold on there a minute. You can't be sure of that. I quite agree. The accused is a common pick purse after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal. I think that's unlikely. And why exactly? As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coercing Mr. Windybank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interests lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin Brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony. Of course they have. But the accused is a pickpurse, common gutter trash. Why look any further from the wrongdoer here? Because the Skulkin Brothers are thieves, madam. No better, in fact, worse than a pickpurse. That's true. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Not true that pickpockets are better than thieves. I'm just saying in this instance, a pickpocket is more likely to steal from someone as opposed to robbery, where these guys are kind of experts in. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you had condemned the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by two thieves? Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair. It's... I think I know why he hit butts. Because he's a surgeon, he has to keep his hands clean, which is why he's like holding them like this. Very interesting. Okay. See, you notice these little things? You all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. You've seen the extraordinary potential firsthand. Yo. One more. Who shall it be? The maid or this lady? Wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Last purchase after trial. Stop. Or return home by Regent Street. Stop. Skidoosh. Medo-san, please join. Well, it would seem this trial has yet run its course. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations by the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call this submission and examination to conclusion, the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus, and I order this trial to continue. Theoretically, wouldn't you just need 3 people to vote to balance the scales again? Because if I'm not mistaken, the jury needs to all of them needs to agree on a verdict before the trial, before they can pass down a judgment. So I just technically I only need 1. Yay! Well done! Oh, by the way, what? You should hold on to this, Reno. You never know when it might come in useful. Twice in one trial be unusual, surely. Aye. Aye. Stereoscope. Okay. Lord Van Zeeks. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna have a look at that. Just look at everything that comes by. I just want to make sure that I can't find anything out of place. Okay. Just make sure. You have to pop your two prints in here to start with, you see. And then, when you look through the eyepieces, you can see the images in 3 dimensions. The important thing to get right is the position of the two prints. I don't know who came up with the idea of a stereoscope, but it's really quite fascinating. It is. No markings, no nothing. Okay. Let's leave that for now. You will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them. Yeah, dipshit, do your job properly. I don't have to do mine. I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. Jeez. I won myself another chance to probe and care about their activities that night at least. I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. Oh no, this is a to be continued. Damn it! 6 minutes in, shit. That's like 5 minutes of extra time. Oh, my bad. Save. Alright. Let's see. Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand. Yeah, guys, come on. Oh, you sweating now. Are those masks they're wearing, or is it just like the shadow of their cap or something? I presume you heard the defense counsel's submission examination? Oh yeah, Governor. I did, Gov. I did. Mr. Skulkin. Cool. Blimey. This is gonna be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Windybanks. Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dicks out of me Lucy Lockets. Lies. However, that was a lie. You brothers. Cool, blimey. On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter. You never done nothing of the sort. How'd you figure that out? Dipshit. You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question. This time, you will tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. That's right, guys. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, Gav, we hear ya? We'll blab, we'll squeak, we'll peach. Now you'll talk. Dumbasses. Illegal entry. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshots, see, made us both jump and all that stuff when flying. Lummy, it didn't give me a fright. We was thinking that shooter come out the door to get us next. We stuck everything back where we found it and scarped it straight into him in the black. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see. We never even had the chance, did we? Okay, I think they're telling the truth there. So you admit to the defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Windybank's countertop on the night in question. Not ransack, Governor, no. That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we tidied up. Yeah. Bastards. Sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess. The way you say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all. We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't you make it sound a bit more cutthroat? It can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at Windybanks that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. I'm sure of it. Could be coincidence, you never know. Alright, press. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. Ooh, what were you rifling for? If that's the case, then why didn't you testify to that effect in the first place? Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we? We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admit to something like that, people would think we was up to no good. You are up to no good. Well said, Ringo, beyond China. We'd only land ourselves into even more trouble. And in fact, now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourselves in even more trouble. That's raw luck. Says the raw nap leader. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. More like we tidied the place up. Not the truth. Oh, sorry. We heard the gunshot, made us both jump, and all that stuff went fine. So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much you knocked all those things off the counter? Well, it shocked one of us that much, yeah. This bag of nerves needs to learn to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, alright? Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up at that bang. Big bruv here screaming like a blooming baby and fell over the counter. Knocked over a load of books, candlestick and some skull, whatnot. That got tangled in some marionette, what knocked over a picture frame, what knocked them scales on the floor. You've really mastered working quietly then. What a racket. Me granny would have been scared back into her grave at a clatter like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise. And then some. I mean, it was quiet as a mouse, and then all of a sudden, bam. What's up, brother? Got something to say, mate? Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add? Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels. No, something to add about their testimony. You see me react just now to what Mrs. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something? It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it. Only, well, the fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the real details. How about you just tell us what's on your mind? As you know, we brought these fellas in the yard for question last night. And the statement they gave them then told a slightly different story to what they're saying now. I'll keep your story straight. They did. You claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot. Might have, Gov, might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it? Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy in your testimony here, eh, fellas? If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them. Death! Easy, easy. We'll get it right this time. That's it, yeah. It's all coming back to me now. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs. Right you are, Gov. Why would you lie about that? Just before the gunshot, you heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun." Was it a male or female? So, in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously? We did, Gov, we did. Although, I suppose if you're being honest, you heard a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. Bam. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. You know what that implies? That means there's two guns. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. Unless it's two different people saying that. If you don't want to get shot, and then someone else said, give me that gun. But if the same person said it, that implies there are two guns there. Kind of thing. A career in acting, tragically missed. And where were the voices coming from? Could you tell? Of course we could. From the other side of that door behind the counter it was. From the storeroom where the victim was found dead. And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Windybank? On me granny's life. Of course it was. So dramatic. On his granny's life. Of course it was. Wait, are they not brothers? So, that would mean that you both knew Mr. Windybank and the sound of his voice. So that would mean what? What, Nash? What? Any ideas? Yes, Counsel? Indeed it would. So you guys know him? No. We didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to deny it when the bloke and all the fancy club has given us the evil eye? Oh, this guy. If you value your lives, you will ensure your testimony is accurate and true. On me granny's life, it is. On his granny's life, it must be. It's a good job his granny's dead. To summarize then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then hear the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor. You make it sound like we're clumsy. And don't forget we tidied up after like good little boys. Anyway, the way I see it, the bloke got in the place was holding the gun, so he should have fired instead of yelling at the girl. He was holding the gun? Wait, you're saying that Mr. Windybank had a gun in his hands? Oh yeah, bet that was a sight, eh? And two waving them guns at each other. Must have got pretty heated. I mean, just before he shouted out, we heard the geezer say, if you don't want to get shot. Didn't really sound like he meant it, mine. More of an empty threat, you could say. Mr. Windybank was known to keep a revolver on a shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping. He'd really put a bullet in someone's head if required. That someone being himself, of course. Good grief! Extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided. While he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night, only the person he was going to shoot beat him to it. Cooked his goose proper. Bet he wished he squeezed the trigger instead of wasting time Shan. Give me that gun. And it was directly after those words that you heard the gunshot? It was more or less at the same time, Gav. Give me that gun. Kind of thing. Yeah, career acting. Very tragically missed. Hold up. That's something very wrong right there. Because what they said means there were definitely two guns. But we've only found one gun. I mean, technically, this gun doesn't count because this is the Skulkin Brothers guns, but we only found one gun, Windybank's gun, that Gina was holding. So, if Mr. Windybank was holding his own gun, what was Gina shooting with? If it was Gina at all. I don't think it's Gina. There's a hole right there already. I think we heard the sound of shouting, sound of someone hitting the dick. Before everything went dead quiet. After that, we done a slapdash job tidying the place up. Let me start. There's something wrong there already. Come on, Van Zeke. Seriously, did you not question these people properly? So you didn't try to open the storm door then? Not on your life. It went deathly quiet after that, it did. Put the wind right up me. But anyway, the door was locked, wasn't it? Knowing that it was opening. Yeah, of course. It was locked from the inside, or so we've been led to believe. It was, Gav, it was. From the inside. Right, so we had no way of knowing what was going on in there, did we? Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like, through the keyhole, or the spy hole, perhaps? Don't ring no bells, don't light no lights. We've had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that. We're still cutting our teeth in the game, see, but one day. That's false already. Because how did... If you recall from the cutscene that we saw when Sholmes got shot, we saw that Naruhodo opened a little door on the door. So they could see it, because that's how we saw it. We really cut the mustard. Please, cut it out. But as we know, behind that door is the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away. Yeah, fortunately. victim was in there unconscious with the gun in her hand. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom? That's right, Gav, that's right. Couldn't have even if you wanted to. I believe them. I don't believe that they didn't look in. Because you could look in. I did. We did, sorry. Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Oh, yeah, it was a bit hasty there. We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when you lot turned up. If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand. Good advice, miss, good advice. Truth be told, me mind went totally blank. Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Mental note made, miss. After that, we licked it down the street, but apparently we look dodgier than coppers or something, so they collect the derbies on us like winking. And after you've been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct? Well, yeah. But listen, that proves it, doesn't it? Eh? You couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, never even had a chance. And why should we believe that? Eh? What? Well, because it's true, innit? The place was totally empty when we went in. At that time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had a gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these two witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbrokery, Mr. Windybank. Correct? You got it, mister. Down to T. So the Skulkin Brothers never actually encountered Mr. Windybank. Is that really true, I wonder? That's it? That's the full extent of the testimony? What is it, Reno? You look very fierce. I can pour you some herbal tea if you're tired. Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh, but I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something. Something important. It's nothing more than a feeling, though. They'll prove to support it. Well, feelings can be very logical at times. Sorry? People's expressions, the movements of their eyes, the words they choose, you can take all that in and your brain will quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling you describe. You've concluded that there's something suspicious about this testimony without even knowing why. That's all. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but one rifle, nothing. Gunshot with a voice over. Now give me that gun. The bloke was holding a gun. Can I, like... Here. Okay, that doesn't count. Shit. That reveals damning consistency in the last statement. Damning, you say? As I look at you, Counsel, I see a trembling hand, your pallid expression, and your perspiring brow. Dude, like, honestly, that is pretty damning. How is he holding a gun if Gina had it? What photo did I present? Oh, I presented the gun, didn't I? What if I present the photo? Oh! Because she's holding the gun in the photo. You're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windybank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Gav. You got the picture? He has, Nash. He has, no question. And yet, the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windybank was not in possession of a firearm of any description. You surprise me. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more? Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish that the photographic print presented was taken a suitably short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, Counsel. Yeah, that's right. Too right, Nash, too right. The old geezer could have been about to turn the tables on the guy. Hardly likely. No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence. Continue with the cross-examination, Counsel, and heed my earlier warning, witnesses. Skulkins never skulking. I don't know. What? Look what owned the place was holding a gun, so you should have fired instead of yelling at the girl. I thought that was pretty good evidence, actually. Oh shit, I didn't mean to press that. Oh, come on. Okay, wait. That seems... What I did just now seemed a bit redundant. Like, that wasn't necessary at all when it happened. Wait a minute. Wait, I think I know what it is. Hold on, let me just confirm it. Go back to 3. Yeah. Because he got shot in the back, but they reenacted that he got shot in the front. So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Winniebeck, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture? Okay. They're saying the same things. So I think I just picked the wrong picture. And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Winniebeck was not holding a firearm of any description. Hey? What? It was the right statement but the wrong photo. Here we go. Gordon, pin it. That ain't right. There can be no question the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Winniebeck's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as a murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand. Oh, yeah, that Moltulo. That Moltulo used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun. Bad. Kind of thing. You got shot in the back. Say exactly where you are. Right there. Okay. If the crime had taken place as you're so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out. Goodness, how do you show a counsel? You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where's the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moment? This photo. According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot. Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe. Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, if I could ask the court to study the photograph of the victim's body again, you can clearly see that Mr. Winniebeck was in fact shot from behind. Ah. So, as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Wow. But it's to God's honest truth. It is Nash, it is. When he was shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand. You saw it with our own bleeding eyes. So you did see it. Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Winbeck holding a gun? Some like that might have slipped out. Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question, they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin Brothers must have encountered the victim in person. Nash, Jesus. Order? Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, the thing is, we weren't supposed to, Oh, he's pissed. It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you. Am I to understand that you will replace the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies? Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, see, we, Cut it out, Nash. Cut it out. Blam now, you know what you'll do to us. He? What are you talking about? Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There's no other option available to you. Bruv, come on, the game's up. But you'll have our guts for goddess. In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out. On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place. Well, do we have to? On pain of death, I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. All in all, he's a shit prosecutor, but at least he's kind of like a lawful guy, you know. Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and he heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we'd had it. For no, geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled me gun on him, and then he legged it through the door to the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. It's all what happened, I swear. Suspicious! So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop? Well, yeah, so sorry. Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably. Exactly. Because, from my point of view, let me digress a little bit. If he was outside and he saw the robbers, that means that he wasn't under duress. Because if Gina had a gun aimed towards him, if he walked out of the door, she would have told him to stop, but she didn't. So, this is... it kind of implicates Gina's innocence already. But honest, Governor, this time, Nash, we ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord, this is it. The moment I've been waiting for. Let's do this. Counter with the victim. Alright, so we just got inside. With a sigh of relief and the geezer shut down. When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windybank? Who else? Sorry, I mean, that's right. Well, we was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one was going to come down at the back room like that. The back room being the pawnbroker's store. Oh boy. Yeah, that must be where he's popped up from. Only place he could have been. So it would seem the victim was already in the storeroom when his brothers entered the premises. Which means Gina must have been in there at that point as well. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina had threatened Mr. Winbank in the store with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived? Exactly my point. Oh, I don't know. He wasn't under duress. Did you see the accused at the time? What? That $1. Couldn't tell ya. No way, Cobber. We had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it. Interesting. I never took Mr. Winbank for that kind of guy. You mentioned that Mr. Winbank shouted those words in your previous testimony too. However, you claimed that you heard him yelling them at on the other side of the storeroom door. Oh, did we? The truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he? Well, yeah. Was the victim Mr. Winbank wielding a gun at that time? Was he ever? Blimey lovey, a great ugly barrel he had. Pointed straight at me frontispiece. So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Winbank with the gun at the time, is that right? It is, Gav, it is. Spot on. Then all of a sudden he came at us, did. Why didn't he fire? It was bedlam. I didn't know who was going for who. We were clearly all going for each other. Like Nash said, we thought we had it. I mean... Fun old geezer bloke was strong as an ox. Yeah, I noted that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony too. Well, yeah, of course we did. You knocked over a load of books, candlestick and some skull whatnot. That got tangled some marionette, or knocked over a picture frame, or knocked over scales on the floor. So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you, making you knock those things off the counter. Well, Big Bruv here went flying over that counter like a gunshot, I can tell ya. Then the old geezer pinned him. He did, Nash, he did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a blown pancake in seconds. At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via a secret cable from the pawnbroker. There is a button under the counter used to activate it, which is presumably pressed by the victim. That's right. When the brothers fled the scene and back onto the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they? Poor Mr. Winniebank. He did everything he could to protect his shop. Were you intending to shoot Mr. Winniebank? Oh, no, never. I was just, you know, looking out for Bruv, wasn't I? He was being flattened, don't forget. By a man whose shop is being burgled, yes. And then, the man fled into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away, then ran off through the door and shut himself in. There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true. I wonder why Mr. Winniebank ran away into the storeroom. What? Well, according to what everyone's saying, Genie was in there waiting for him. With a gun. Oh yeah, that's right. Genie allegedly used Mr. Winniebank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Winniebank's hand again? I have no idea. That is strange, isn't it? Little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it. Look, the point is, me and my bruv here. That's right, Nash, that's right, me and my bruv here. Never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all what happened before. Well, you might have seen who did it. You say you had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Nothing, Gov, nothing. The old geezer went and shut himself in the back room, didn't he? Locked it was from the inside. We know it was because you tried to open it. But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong, wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, accused Miss Gina Lestrade. I don't think so. It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, counselor? I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could possibly have shot Mr. Winniebank? Yeah, there could have been. Mr. and Mrs. Skulkin. Hey? What? What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely. Yeah, it did. What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is who could have shot Mr. Winniebank, and it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect to the two conundrums. Two, my lord? Twice as many chances to be right, maybe? Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Understood, my lord. Are you alright, Udo? Not entirely sure. But there's one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. You believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun. want to say here. Because there was that slot in the door, wasn't there? But then again, it could have been here as well. Someone could have snuck. I don't think anybody could snuck there. There's only one door. I have a feeling it's here. I'm gonna say here. The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time? It's here. The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Winnipeg died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired? So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom? Well, according to the Skulkin Brothers' earlier testimony, I pulled my gun on him and then he legged it through the door into the back room. If Mr. Winnipeg ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time. Yeah. It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom. It's possible. Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial? Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Poor man, shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety. Oh, of course. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still enter his body on an upward trajectory. So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Winnipeg. I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? But what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there is someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Is that so? Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense assertion is that the victim was shot from the outside the storeroom. In which case, who shot and locked the door, storeroom door from the inside? Do you know? Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room? For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck. I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel? She got shot. I mean, the dude got shot. You will lock the door too. That's a tricky one, that isn't it? Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please. But of course, Jeannie would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? It does? Yes, it does. What? Naruto's a dipshit as well. Well, if I was Jeannie in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Yeah, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Winnipeg were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at the time, but at some point, Mr. Winnipeg must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom. Yeah, intruders, eh? That's us, bruv. If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then probably only moments later, the victim fled through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Winnipeg fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendants have done in that moment? Ah, I see where you're going with this. Oh, Inside the storm was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windybank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it. In order to save her own life. But I mean, wait, the ones who done it. We ain't gov, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on, we never shoot no one. That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There is only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Misty Windybank's murder. I don't think they did it. They didn't. They're pretty adamant that they didn't do it. Well, this is Vivas. You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after all? Should have known it was those three brothers. They look as shady as the dance for us. Three brothers for Gregson. That was amazing, Bruno. All the members of the jury seem firmly on your side now. No! First time ever. Probably the last. Well, I think you've done it. Surely as I give a verdict, I'm not... An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing? You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zieks? I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive. I dare say, such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than an inexcusable petty foggery going here. What? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly cannot and will not stand. Because you see, it contains a fatal flaw. What flaw is it? I guess we'll find out in the next episode. Again, I don't think they did it. It doesn't seem like they did it, so someone else must have been with them, because they did say that he would kind of mess with them if they tell the truth. So I have a feeling it's Egbert Benedict. I have a feeling it's that guy. And we will find out in the next episode. So for now, if you like what you see and you like what you hear, be sure to like, subscribe, and get that bell on so you stay up to date on all my latest videos. As always, be safe, take care, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace!